10 minutes. That is exactly how long it takes to microwave a sad frozen lasagna, sit through a couple of unskippable YouTube pre-rolls, or, if Google is to be believed, build a fully functioning full-stack application entirely from scratch using Gemini 1.5 Pro. Now, I know what you are thinking. Great, another AI hype video where someone generates a basic HTML to-do list and acts like they just rebuilt AWS. Fair. I would be skeptical too. But today, we are not doing the theoretical marketing fluff. We are stress testing that massive 2 million token context window with a raw, ticking clock to see if multimodal reasoning can actually kill manual boilerplate coding, or if high-speed automation is still just a hallucination-prone liability that leaves you debugging at 3 a.m. Because let's be real, writing boilerplate code is the absolute worst part of development. It is the digital equivalent of assembling IKEA furniture with instructions translated from Swedish into Klingon by someone who has never seen a screwdriver. So I decided to see if Gemini could skip the assembly line entirely. Let's put 10 minutes on the clock and find out what actually happens when you push this model to the absolute edge. Right? The clock is running. Our goal here isn't a basic landing page. We are building a real interactive data dashboard, front-end in React with Tailwind CSS, a Node.js backend express server, and full state management. To make this a true test, I did not just type a lazy one-sentence prompt. I took a messy, hand-drawn UI layout sketch, a massive 50 megabyte raw CSV file, filled with chaotic user analytics data, and a 20-page PDF detailing our strict backend API specifications. I dumped all of that directly into the Gemini 1.5 Pro prompt window at the exact same time. This is where that massive context window actually matters. Most models choke the second you feed them multiple file types or huge data sets. They start forgetting the top of the prompt by the time they reach the bottom. But here, Gemini digested the visual layout, mapped out the data columns from the CSV, and cross-referenced the backend rules in under 15 seconds. Look at the screen right now. It is spitting out a clean, structured repository architecture. It didn't just give me the code snippets, it organized the folder structure. Components, hooks, server configurations, all mapped out. So the plan is, let me back up a second. Let's look at the Express backend it generated. It parsed the raw CSV data using a stream pipe and created dynamic SQL query parameters based on the PDF spec sheets. That is not just autocomplete, that is contextual awareness. But here's where the math stops making sense if you are used to older AI models. Normally, around the 7-minute mark in a live build, you hit the wall. The AI forgets a variable name, drops a critical middleware function, or just starts hallucinating APIs that don't exist. I dug into the data handling. It wrote for the Express server. It included error handling catch blocks and course configurations automatically. I didn't even ask for those. It just assumed I wanted a functional server, not a broken demo. We are halfway through the clock and the backend is live. Now for the front end. I asked it to build a dashboard with dynamic filters based on that hand sketch I uploaded. What I found surprised me. It didn't just copy the layout, it translated my terrible crooked whiteboard handwriting into clean semantic Tailwind classes. It even added a responsive sidebar that collapses on mobile. And yeah, I hear you. This sounds like a flawless victory. Wow, the AI is perfect. Let's all retire. Hold on. Let's talk about the friction, because it wasn't completely seamless. Around the 3-minute mark, the front end crashed on the initial build. Why? Because Gemini utilized a specific charting library in the React code, but forgot to list it in the generated installation command. A human developer catches that in 2 seconds. You just run npm install recharts and move on. But if you are an absolute beginner who doesn't know how to read a terminal stack trace, you are completely stuck, staring at a blank screen, questioning your career choices. This is the exact divide between hype and reality. Gemini 1.5 Pro is an incredible force multiplier, but it still requires a pilot who knows how to fly. It frees you from typing out the tedious boilerplate, but you still need to be the architect who verifies the foundation. Down to the final minute. I am clicking through the live app right now. The data filters are responsive. The backend is serving the parsed CSV data perfectly. The UI looks cleaner than half the enterprise internal tools I have used in my life. Time is up, 10 minutes on dot. The short answer to whether it worked is yes. The long answer is fascinating. We just bypassed roughly 4 hours of tedious configuration, routing setup, and data mapping in 600 seconds. If we look at the current trajectory of these models, we aren't just seeing minor speed updates. We are watching the barrier to entry for software creation completely evaporate. If the engineering behind these massive context windows holds up, the traditional way of starting a software project, spending your entire morning configuring environments and writing basic API wrappers, will feel completely archaic within a few years. What would you build if the distance between an idea and a working full-stack prototype was reduced to just a 10-minute conversation? Would you use it to automate the boring parts of your day job, or finally launch that side project you have been putting off? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one of them. I will see you in the next one.